welcome to Fandom Family Chats. I am Maureen. I'm your producer and host today. We have Joshua.
Hey, how's it going?
And Bethany.
Hi.
And Amanda.
Hello.
And our very special guest today is from The Resident. She plays Carol. It is Summer Selby. We are so glad to have you here, and we have some questions for you.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I feel honored. This is my very first podcast, so
really?
Go easy on me. I'm a virgin.
We'll try to remember that.
We will.
You are a fan favorite in our group, though. A lot of our members love Carol.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with people sort of around the world, mainly in France. They seem to like me in France.
They have
Do they not seem to like you here?
Some people were disappointed that I replaced Denise. Yes.
Oh, I always forget that you weren't always Carol. Because you're the one.
I wasn't always Carol.
Yeah, because you replaced. Oh. Yeah, I always forget that because before every season I sort of binge watch to like get in the mindset, and I'm always surprised that wait, it's somebody different before.
Gotcha. Yeah,
you
just
play
means
Carol
you did
so
a fantastic job.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, Amanda, you want to start off with some questions?
All right. So, did you know from a young age you wanted to get into acting, or was that a later life decision?
Oh my God. I'm going to post a picture of me around the age of 10 or 11, maybe 9. It's in my grandmother's side yard. I and all my cousins are like a stair step lined up, surrounded by my aunts and uncles. I won't have to explain anything. When you see that picture, you will be able to pick me out. And that will answer your question. The answer is from a young age, yes, except that I didn't know it was called acting. I didn't know there were actors and actresses.
I think that's where my son is right now too.
Yeah, I guess I was, my family just didn't talk about that. They didn't name that profession.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was pretty common.
So were you in a lot of productions as a kid? Like, did you go into theaters or elementary schools? Okay. Was it just like a lot of family stuff?
I did talent shows.
Ooh.
At church, and there was this cultural center on the south side of Chicago. I don't remember the name of it. I've been trying to remember for about a year. It was called Lincoln something. And I went there after school. I learned how to walk across the room with a book on my head.
Ooh. I
learned which fork, which spoon to use first.
You had etiquette training.
I took modern dance, tap, and ballet.
Oh, nice.
And I participated in their talent shows.
That's awesome.
Also in high school. And then in college, I switched from math major, I love math, to journalism.
Oh. And
then finally to theater and French.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So I had an inkling in college.
Yeah. You're supposed to run the gamut of things in the beginning of college.
Yes.
So are you fluent in French? Fairly fluent?
I would call myself fluent in traveler's French. When I go to West Africa or France, I can get around easily.
Okay.
I have no one here to speak it with, so I get to speak it maybe once every 8 or 10 years. Or if a fan writes me from France and I get to respond in French.
Oh, I bet you love that.
What made you decide to choose French as your co-major?
You're asking really interesting questions. I was born in a city called Terre Haute.
Okay.
Oh, my best friend lives there.
You're kidding?
No.
Oh my God. Is her name Debbie?
No, it's Courtney.
Courtney
Debbie.
I've been looking for Debbie, who was my best friend in high school in Terre Haute.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember her last name. Anyway, I was born in Terre Haute, which is French for high ground.
Okay.
My maiden name is Uzzell, which is a small village in northern France.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Going back through genealogy, my people were owned by the Uzzell family in eastern North Carolina.
okay.
Thomas Uzzell came over. He was a Huguenot,
Mm-hmm.
came over from Europe in 17 something. I have an affinity for West Africa. I've been to Cote d'Ivoire twice. They speak French there. I have no idea why I have an affinity for that area. Once I did my DNA, I found out I'm more from the Senegal area
Oh, okay.
than Cote d'Ivoire, but I'm from both. I'm from
Mhm.
both. I don't know. It's just something in my genes.
Wow.
You're just born to it.
Born to it.
Called you.
I think that's fascinating. I minored in history when I was in college, and so
Did you?
yeah, so this kind and journalism actually was my major. So I actually really this kind of stuff is I'd rather know way more about about you and why you made the decisions you made as you're growing up and your history and stuff. So that's awesome.
It was just a thread in my life.
Mhm.
My maiden name Uzzell in Old French, it means oiseau, which is bird or bird-like,
Oh.
or a person who keeps birds.
That's pretty.
That's very
Yeah. I don't know how oiseau became Uzzell, but that's what they tell me on the internet.
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah.
Oh,
French is
Awesome.
great. I took like a couple of classes of French, and I couldn't. It's what I heard.
French was my language in college. That was the class that I took.
Ah,
I can read it, but I don't always know what I'm reading. I can sound like I know what I'm talking about, but that's it.
So we're gonna switch the rest of the conversation to French, or
Oh.
I'd be lost. I'd be able to share a little bit, but not much.
I mean, I can do Spanish, but then everybody's just going to be really confused.
Spanish is a lot more useful in this country.
Yes.
Well, as you know, I'm in Texas, and so is Joshua and Bethany. They're in Texas as
We're in
well. So
Texas.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Grew
Wisconsin, so I'm the odd man out.
I
The
grew up
cheese country.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
There you go. There you go. I don't know Spanish, even though I grew up in Texas. I still don't know Spanish.
It's useful in Texas.
It absolutely is. I have to get a translator quite a bit. My dad knows Spanish. He's fluent.
that was one of the things when we were taking classes for French. That it was kind of like for people who already knew how to speak Spanish, and they figured, oh, we'll just teach you the different words here and there because there's a lot of underlying, I guess Latin or whatnot.
Mhm.
And then when they found out we didn't speak Spanish fluently, they were like, yeah, no, this is not for you. We'll be
Yeah, what did they call that back in school? Romance languages, Spanish,
Mhm.
French.
yeah.
They're all derivatives of Latin or something like that. I remember that from somewhere.
All right. I guess we can move on to the next question. Can you tell us anything about your audition process for The
Mm.
Resident?
Well, I did it right here with this background in my office, in my home. I live in Mississippi,
Okay, cool.
down on the coast, literally on the water, 100
Oh,
feet
that's
from the
nice.
water. What happened? I got the audition notice from my agent about The Resident, and I said, oh, it's a horror film.
It feels like it's gonna head that way.
I haven't done a horror film since Lycanthrope. That ought to be fun. Maybe I should look it up and see a couple of episodes. Lo and behold, it's about doctors.
I mean, Hodad's in there, so I mean, kind of.
literally, that's exactly the first place my mind went. I was like, Hands of Death and Destruction. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds about right. That's a horror film. Yeah.
That's true.
So we accessed 2 or 3 episodes from season 3, my husband and I. watched it to get a sense of the show.
Mhm.
And then I found out somewhere along the way that the original Carol was done by the wonderful Denise Dowles. So I went back and watched her 2 episodes. That gave me a sense of their original intention for this character. I had a description, I had a character description, but you know, actors always need to know more.
Mhm.
So once I looked at her scenes, read the description, I made some decisions about how I was going to approach the character, and sat here and did my audition. I think it was 3 scenes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Can you tell us
that
which
I
3
did.
scenes you auditioned with? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The 3 scenes you auditioned with, what were the ones that you gave to them?
Well, of course, the sleepaway camp scene.
Mm.
Remember, AJ and I are sitting on an ottoman facing a window talking about sleepaway camp.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the sleepaway camp scene. I want you to go be with Mina scene.
Mm-hmm. That scene
And
got me.
Yes.
But all of this is just sitting here in this chair. I wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
I don't remember the 3rd scene, but there were 3 scenes.
Okay.
Those are 2 good ones, though.
Yeah, there were
Maybe
great
pivotal
scenes to
scenes.
work with. The casting director is in Atlanta, and I had submitted to him before. For some reason, he didn't remember me. And so I did this audition and submitted it to him, I think within 24 hours of getting the invitation.
Oh.
So that put
So
me
quickly.
sort of at the front of the line of,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there were 75, 100 women or more auditioning for this role.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad you were chosen.
Absolutely.
I am too. Thank you.
Yes. You rock it. We really love you on there.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We do. We really do have a lot of Carol fans, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We do. A lot of people do like Carol.
That scene that you're talking about with you and AJ walking through the park where you're getting emotional, but where you're telling him about, or he's telling you the story of how he found you, and your response was just, you played that so honestly that it really like hit me right in the feels about just how selfless your character really was, and how all you cared about was his happiness, your son's happiness, and just it was such a beautiful scene.
You know, I think any mother could relate to that scene,
Yeah.
Maureen. And I happen to have 4 sons.
Mm.
So
Wow.
discussing losing my son to another woman
Mm.
is something I've been through many, many times.
I bet.
Now all my sons are married, but before that, they had numerous relationships, you know, live in, not live in. Yeah, I've been through that many times before. So I knew exactly how it would feel and how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm Jamal,
We feel
That's
the
how
same
we all
way.
feel.
you could not have a better scene partner other than Malcolm and Michael, the man who plays my husband.
Mm-hmm.
They are so giving. It's like just talking to a friend.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, let me tell you something. Back in Indianapolis, about 35 or 40 years ago, I did a stage play. And I happened to be a hot little character in the play. And the leads were all men. And every single one of them chose to take me aside and tell me what I was doing wrong.
Oh,
And how
wow.
I should really play the scene. And what positive characteristics I had versus my negative ones, and which ones I should play up. I mean, it was it was crushing to the ego. So I'm always a little wary when I go on set, when I'm working with men, because I don't know when I'm going to run into that kind of experience again. Of course, I'm a lot stronger now, so I know how to handle it, but I still don't want to run into it.
Yeah.
Those two men were so far from that, it wasn't even funny. I mean, not one criticism, nothing but support and love.
That's good
That
to
really
hear.
came through on camera. Like you could just, it translated
feel
to
the
the
genuine,
audience.
yeah.
Yeah, it felt very genuine, very sincere. It's just wonderful to see that relationship. It's beautiful moments, definitely.
And it's not just the actors, it's the entire production company. I have to say, that's my favorite production company to date. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I've worked with a lot of different production companies. You know, when you walk outside your trailer and you start to look around because you want something or you need something, when a production assistant comes to you and asks you, what do you need? What can I do for you? How can I help? And it was like that for 3 months.
That's awesome.
Not one person with an attitude.
It
We're already
happens.
hearing a lot of good things about that set. I think somebody was talking about the masks that they gave
Mark
you know,
Rowan,
they gave all yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, that's still my favorite mask. I still use it all the time. So it sounds like it's a really
The
good
masks
set.
were
Really
approved by Disney.
when you're on set, of course, obviously I know it's Fox, but you know, Fox, you know, now Disney, everything like that. Is there a lot of stuff that are you aware that it's a Disney set, or is it like just true Fox set? Is everything? I mean, of course, I know, like I said, everybody seems like they've really enjoyed working on that set, but it just seems like it's funny that, you know, I'm interested to see kind of what changes have happened, you know, now that they're Fox is owned by Walt Disney Company. You know what I mean? Is it evident, or is it just kind of the same?
I don't remember working on a set with that combination before. I can't say there's any difference. I wouldn't know.
Cool.
Good. I guess if you have all your operations in place, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, it sounds like they had a really good a set up, as you were saying. So I think that's really good that it sounds like it's such a special set. Why make any changes to it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think part of it is that these people have worked together for 4 years, and so they know each other really well, and they run like a really well-oiled machine. I was never left to fend for myself. I was escorted anywhere I wanted to go. I didn't have to find my way through this ginormous studio. And every day the route changes because we're working on different sets. So the carpenters tear down something and build something else. And the pathways and the doorways change. So I would have been wandering around that place still if.
So speaking about doorways and different places, Amanda had brought this up. There was one scene where y'all are in a hallway. I don't know if it was pre-surgery or post-surgery. It was so funny because it felt so weird. It's like, hey, we're just gonna stick her in a hallway.
Carol deserved a private room.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, she deserves like the penthouse suite. You know? Why do we have her in the hallway?
You guys mentioned that yesterday when I listened to the podcast yesterday.
It was so odd to us.
I think what it was is, you know, during the pandemic, there was so many situations where patients were in hallways.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And on the floor, and in some cases in the parking lot. So I think they were trying to send a message that the hospital is still very busy. And that day, wasn't there a catastrophe that day? Wasn't
I think there was the episode before.
Tornado, it was the fire.
I think that was the episode before, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was one right before.
It wasn't
Your
the
episode
tornado,
was
it
the
was a
Connick
fire
baby.
that day,
It was.
So there were lots of other patients.
It could be the patients were still there from the incident that took place in the
Froze
previous
again.
episode.
There you go.
Oh, say that again.
I said it could be that the patients were still filling the hospital from the previous incident that happened in the previous episode. Exactly.
It could be. It could be. I let them do to me whatever they want to do to me. I don't ask. I don't ask why they have me up against a glass wall in the hallway and it's dark. But
it was very dramatic, though.
Dramatic effect. That's right.
Yeah, the lighting was coming through that window, and then AJ's silhouette was just kind of there. I thought, okay, well maybe that's why. But it just, I don't know, it just seemed so funny. It was like
it did. It added a very dramatic scene.
It did. It did. When I saw it, I agree with you. When I saw it, I thought about that too.
Now, you had mentioned that you are a mom of 4 boys. So how much of you did you put into Carol's character?
Carol and I are very, very similar. The major difference between Carol and I, the way Denise set Carol up, and I tried to continue, the major difference between Carol and I is Summer is probably, I'm very, very healthy as far as I know. And I'm a lot less concerned and afraid about my health. I haven't had any major scares. I'm 72, almost 73.
You look phenomenal.
So I'm not.
I was gonna say, wow.
I think Michael, excuse me, my husband, Yi, played by Michael Paul Chan, mentions that, or was it AJ that mentioned that I was a bit of a hypochondriac? Or
that was
Carol
Michael.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were a couple of other comments, and I'm not like that.
Okay.
But other than that, Carol and I are very similar.
Makes it easier on you to play the part then.
Yeah. I think I said to someone the other day, all I have to do is open my mouth and say the words because it's so well written. And I'm so well supported by the other actors in the scenes.
Yeah.
It's all the only thing I can do is screw up saying the words.
But I think you bring a really nice depth of emotion to the character. Like I'm thinking of that scene when AJ brings Mina over to the house and you and Yi are cooking dinner for them. And you have that, I think you're packing up something afterwards and you find the memory book or the picture book of AJ. And just the expression on your face, I like shows that are nonverbal, excuse me, a lot. And I think you bring in really nice depth to that character emotionally where you don't have to say much, but the expression on your face very clearly speaks volumes. And I think it takes a very special skill to be able to do that.
It does.
It's maybe that's when sense memory comes in, having sent my sons away.
Yeah.
Many times, most of the time for happy situations, with one of my sons for a sad situation. Sending them away and remembering what that felt like and then bringing it into that scene. I can definitely relate. There was so much that I related to.
Yeah.
Because of my own personal background, it would have been much more challenging for me to be a girl mother. Girl mothers are different from boy mothers. And they're both different from mothers who have girls and boys.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
I'm a girl mom.
I
have 3
I'm
girls.
a boy mom.
I'm a boy mom.
Being a boy mom is terrifying to me. I don't know how you guys do it.
Being a girl mom is terrifying to me.
I hear that from boy moms a lot.
I have no idea how to raise a girl.
No.
I barely know what I'm doing. So I mean, there's that level.
Everybody
they're so verbal and they have vocabularies and they have logic and they can debate with you.
True, and never spoken.
They have opinions and they will disagree with you.
Yes.
And the boys just throw chairs at windows during surgery.
The boys throw chairs at windows, yes.
While their mother is on the table.
To be fair, my 2-year-old does an awful lot of chair throwing too.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she's a lot like, I don't
Oh,
throw
wow.
chairs, but she's got a temper like me. So that's, we're trying to get that to stop.
I don't know how you handle it.
Barely. That's how. That and the grace of God.
Yeah. True.
So how long
Uh,
are you usually on set for? When you're filming?
With this particular production,
Yes.
it's off and on all day long.
Oh,
Yeah, I might go in at 8 in the morning and be done at 5 in the afternoon, but most of the time I'm sitting around
oh, okay.
waiting to be called to set, talking to the other actors, talking to whomever is around me,
Mm-hmm.
looking at Facebook,
That's all of us right now.
studying my lines. Yeah, studying my lines a lot because the more you read through them, the more you discover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like rewatching a show, but
Exactly.
before it's made.
Exactly. But then, you know, a lot of the times I have no idea what's going on around me. For example, when I was on my stomach and they were operating on Carol's spine,
Mm-hmm.
there were 2 actresses that came in and said lines. I barely remember that because the position that I'm in is very uncomfortable. There's a bar across my forehead and the gurney is flat, it's padded, but it's kind of firm. And actually the carpenter built a special padding for that gurney for me.
Oh.
To fit the girls in. So, you know, he built it so it had a dip because I was going to be laying there in that position with this bar across my forehead for almost an hour.
Oh, it took that long to film that scene.
Wow.
Probably 45 minutes. Well, if you add in, I have to get into position, then they have to get everything around me into position, and then rehearse a little bit, and then start to shoot. All in all, it probably was an hour.
Okay.
In that position. Yeah.
Because of the camera angles, I guess you were the one actually on the table. It wasn't just like a analog or anything like that. Because I mean, the curtain's there for a while. So it's like,
no, that was me. I can't think of any time that I saw when I watched the program where it wasn't me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they believe in realism to that extent.
Good.
Except for the robot baby. All right, had to bring it back.
You had to bring that back.
Now that's just going to become our resident punchline. So it's never going to go away now.
Robot baby.
The robot baby. Oh my God.
Do an episode in the future where it's like Nick and Conrad's daughters going off to college and just have it be a robot just for old times.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well,
that was on second thought, no.
With the time frame with which they move, with the time frame with which they move the show forward, that could probably happen in about a year and a half.
There you go.
That is
very
true. Definitely. So do you have any favorite TV shows that you would love to work on? Obviously, this seems like this is a great one, but any others that you would like to add to that?
Anyone. I like to work.
That's an excellent point.
That's a great point. Yes.
Very true.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite show that you watch then maybe?
Have you heard of a show called P Valley?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Aha.
Is it Peed Valley?
P, the letter P as in pod, hyphen Valley.
Oh.
That sounds really familiar.
The writer, showrunner, director for that show is a phenomenal young woman.
Wow.
I would love to, actually, I did audition for that show. Loretta Devine booked the role that I auditioned for. I'd love to do that show. Queen Sugar.
I've heard of that one.
I've heard that one too.
Queen Sugar. I've auditioned for that show many times.
Oh,
They keep
Have you?
asking me to audition.
oh wow.
That means they love me, but they can't figure out what to do with me, I guess.
That's good.
What else? Oh, and did you know that Mr. Malcolm Jamal Warner has just optioned a book and he's going to turn it into a movie
No.
Oh.
Awesome.
starring himself and directing as well?
Oh.
That would be
Check it out.
phenomenal.
Oh,
What is,
we
do you know the
definitely
name
will.
of it?
I just read it yesterday and no, I don't remember.
check
I'm
it out.
72. What do you want? You want me to remember it?
If I read it yesterday, I wouldn't remember the name of it anyway.
It's
either,
Me
so.
neither.
Thank you, Joshua.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Malcolm Jamal Warner. Of course, my family and I, we grew up on the Cosby Show. So we were so excited to see him join the cast of The Resident. It was very nostalgic. So what was it like working with him? I mean, I know that you were mentioning how wonderful it is earlier, but I have any maybe nostalgic memories have come up? I mean, he's had such a long, wonderful career.
An envious career. Yeah. He was just constantly kind and generous during my whole 3-month experience in Atlanta, working on the show. When
Mhm.
I first arrived, I was entering, I think it was the makeup trailer, and he was already there with his special makeup team. Because, you know, they do these special things for him. He looks great on camera because he has this special team.
So he doesn't
And
look
I-
great off camera is what you're saying?
Well, I still see him in the same makeup and
That's true.
whatnot. So he looks great off camera too.
The movie
And I
magic
walked
is
in and I couldn't help it. And I was afraid of being a little starstruck when I met him and when I met Michael Paul Chan. When I walked into the makeup trailer and I saw him, I went, Theo!
Oh, that's
exactly what I
great.
would have done.
And then I thought, oh my God, he'll probably never speak to me again. And do you know, he just laughed. He
Oh,
just
I love it.
laughed and said, hey, how you doing? And we just hit it off from there.
That's awesome.
It
When I
was
first-
awesome.
When I first saw him when he came on, I was like, Theo is finally Dr. Huxtable. It was like, yes, he's earned the right.
We started calling him that when he came on.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Well,
And
you
I,
tell him hi from
loved
all of
what
us.
you said yesterday, Joshua, about, I think the question came up about why AJ threw the chair.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
You explained it perfectly from a man's point of view.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he really thought about how he was going to react in that scene. I think the script says he throws his cell phone.
Oh wow.
And he said right away that day, that's not appropriate. That's not enough. This is my mom's.
Mhm. Yeah, because
I
he
think I
did
should
throw the
throw a
cell phone
chair.
too.
Did he?
That's
Yeah,
right,
he threw the
did.
cell phone first,
did
and then
that
that
when
you could
Kane
tell
went-
that he almost thought this is not enough while he was playing the
Mhm.
role, and then he picked up the chair and threw the chair.
Exactly. He knew that the scene needed more,
Mhm.
and he gave it more. And then that close-up shot of him with the tears streaming.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
That was
very powerful.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is like I've always seen that character as just such very calculated. You know, he's the Raptor. It's just like he's a machine,
Mhm.
and then nope, when Mama's in trouble, it's like it's all out the way. It's just raw, like complete emotion. You know, just complete emotional reactions. But
Exactly. And you explained it so well yesterday. You took the words right out of one of my son's mouths because that's exactly what they would have said. And that's exactly how they would have reacted. My sons are very, very protective and passionate about their moms. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know how girls react in that situation, but I know how men react.
Probably
Emotionally.
the same way. Emotionally, yeah, maybe not quite as much physical chair throwing, but you know, it's definitely.
No, as I said, my daughters still throw chairs.
That's right.
I was telling my sister-in-law that my third one is the meanest one yet. She said, "You see that with all of them?" Yes, because they keep getting worse.
Oh no.
That means they'll be strong women, which is
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you
Yep.
go.
I'm only afraid of them now. When they get older, we'll be better.
There you go.
So of the storylines that you played, now when we talked about a little bit of the park when AJ's doing that voiceover, were you given that backstory when you stepped into Carol's role, so you kind of knew what the relationship between AJ and Carol was?
great. Yeah, so it's in
Oh.
the script. It's in the sides that I got for the audition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they've known that.
That was heartbreaking.
And then
that.
they looked for an actress that resembled me.
Oh, yeah. I
And
thought they did a
asked
fairly good
me-
job with that.
They did. They asked me for pictures of me at the age of 20 something.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent them several pictures of me at 20 something.
Did they do a good job?
I thought she was an excellent
Mhm.
actress.
Yeah.
So was the little boy.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, when that little boy was crying. Oh my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was
think
so
One of
beautiful.
many great scenes.
Hmm.
it was done very well. It's very, very emotional, very believable. You know, it's just like you didn't like jump out of it. You know what I mean? Just kind of it flowed. It was like, oh yeah, that is them. You know.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It felt like you truly were watching, that moment of their history and seeing where that moment led to, and to see, what a beautiful point in time that it came to. And even though she was dealing with all her health issues, of course, that moment and where she was appreciating the day is just beautiful to see that their story had a happy ending, even though she's still facing all of these issues. But to know that, hey, he was able to find a family that loves him, and he was able to find his mom, and at the same time too, she was able to find her son. It was just beautiful to see that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And that was a gorgeous day by the lake.
Oh wow! I
there
was
in
wondering if
Atlanta.
that was movie magic or if it really was that beautiful of a day.
It was just that perfect. The sun kept moving because I think it was late in the afternoon and the sun kept moving, but there were beams of light through the trees that I was
Mhm.
trying my best to pace my stroll and say my lines and look at AJ and catch that beam just right.
Hmm.
But then, you never know what's going to happen in editing.
Right.
Of course.
But yeah, I did try to do that. But the lake was gorgeous. The park was gorgeous.
That was in Atlanta.
Yes, I think it's called Piedmont Park.
Oh, okay.
I think the lake is in Piedmont Park.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Mhm.
we talked about a lot of really great scenes. Do you have a favorite of all of them that you've shot with the show?
I think my favorite is the one in the doctor's office where she gives me the good news
Mm.
Mhm.
and Yi, my husband, is pacing back and forth. Remember that one?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
remember that.
say, your father has zero chill.
I feel like that was straight out of your mouth
That was
somewhere and more than
great.
Carol's.
That was actually in the script,
Was
but
it?
I got to show a little bit of me. The only ad lib that was kept in all the scenes that I did was the three of us are walking out of the hospital talking about going to Yi's restaurant to eat, and they're arguing about who's going to pick up the check.
Mhm.
Remember
I
that one?
Yep.
Yes.
And I say, you know what a tightwad is, or something like that. That's my only ad lib that was kept.
That's awesome.
As a matter of fact, I said that 4 or 5 times, and the director came to me and said, let's give them something positive in case the powers that be don't like you insinuating that AJ is a tightwad. So I gave him
We
a
all love
different
that.
ad lib. But they kept the original ad lib after all.
That's awesome.
Because the relationship between Carol and AJ is so
Mhm.
close that it's not actually a negative connotation that she's saying right
No,
there. It's
Right.
Yeah.
it's ribbing, it's sarcasm, it's
Yeah,
great. I relate personally to that. So
yeah, exactly.
I love seeing the closeness in that family. It's so believable to see, like, it's a real family. But I think what's fun too is that, of course, my family and I were all really close. Of course, Josh is actually my brother.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you knew. And so we're close to our parents, and our parents are close to their parents. And so we, you know, our uncle and our grandparents, we're all just like really close knit family. And so it's so cool to be able to see that, you know, portrayed on TV, you know, and to see that those family ties and that those bonds. It's just really cool to see that.
I love that. Of course, Denise Dowles set that up in her 2 episodes last season, and I just continued it. I do love that. I had another thought that I was going to share with you. It'll come back to me.
That's okay.
No, and this storyline, I mean, it's especially the cancer storyline. Like I was saying, the last one, you know, it hits home a little bit. My dad has liver cancer, and he's actually, believe it or not, getting a directed therapy of sorts. You know, he's doing some chemo, but it's very directed, not full body. They did the same thing with radiation. So it's kind of interesting to see, because I guess that's the beauty of this kind of show, especially when you deal with so many different people. And it's a hospital, so you're going to get so many different things coming and going through it, that it really does kind of speak and reach to a broad audience, you know. And you know, and it was kind of nice. It's great to see the happy outcome that Carol's having. Yes, the spine issue was like, oh no, you know, what's going to happen? It was crazy and scary, but it was even though that was crazy and scary, it was a result of a good thing, because the cancer was gone. You know, had been you know, dissolved or whatnot from there. So, but it's a very it's a very touching story, you know, storyline. I think it's kind of it hit home, you know. It really
did.
I'm glad it did resonate with you. I love how close all these different relationships are on this show. I also love the diversity of the show. But the diversity is, well, it's missed by a lot of people. A lot of people, close friends of mine, as well as people I don't know, do comment about the closeness in the relationships, the positivity, the love on the show, but a lot of people miss the diversity. Many people think that Michael Paul Chan is a light-skinned Black man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I never thought it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't read it that way.
But I also know him from a lot
No.
of other things too, so maybe that's
Yeah.
why, because I've been a fan of his for a while. But
That's
I don't.
true.
That seems crazy to me.
Y'all just
Yeah.
have to remember that a lot of people don't watch TV.
Yeah.
And here in Mississippi, I'm in Ocean Springs, and I try to promote the show wherever I go, get my nails done, go shopping, go to dinner, wherever I try to mention it. And a lot of people don't watch TV, or they don't have the local channels. They only watch Netflix or Hulu.
That's true.
Or something like that. So there were people who thought that Michael Paul Chan was either a white man or a light-skinned Black man. There was one woman, I think I mentioned to Amanda, that the fan complained that there wasn't much about social issues on the show, and there wasn't much diversity. And I wrote back to her and I said, gosh, I'm just really proud of how the show tackles social issues.
Yeah.
And you really can't get much more diverse than me and my husband being a Chinese man.
Because I really did think that the show has done a great job. And obviously I'm a white person, so I tend to be a little more dense when it comes to diversity issues itself. But I've always thought that the show handled diversity well. I've always thought that the show did actually point out the social issues that are plaguing so many people right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the show does an excellent job. I mean, this show is rich with connection to what's going on every day in our country and around the world.
And even
and
behind the scenes,
has
it's a
been.
female writing cast, isn't it? Like all the writers are female, or most of
Not
them?
all the writers, but there are about, I'd say 20 to 25 writers over the four seasons,
Okay.
and quite a few are women.
Mhm.
I don't know how they roll out
Yeah.
ethnically, because I don't have, I'm not privy to that, but I do see male and female names
Yeah.
in the list on IMDb.
hmm
Great.
And I like that in the name of diversity, they don't cheapen the show to
No,
point out
exactly.
diversity, because
That's
and-
important.
exactly. And even what Josh was saying about how he and Bethany personally connected with that story, they have people on set, right? They have an actual resident on set that advises. Is that
A
accurate?
resident?
They have a doctor or
You're
medical
talking
professional.
about Sunshine.
Yes, that's her name.
Sunshine
Yes.
is an actual trauma nurse,
Okay.
and she wrote that she loves bringing her expertise in the
Mhm.
medical field and her interest in film together.
Yeah.
So when they were getting ready to operate on me both times, she was right there making sure all the appropriate machinery was in place and hooked up the right way.
Yeah.
I don't know if she has anything to do with the operating field dummies.
Okay.
I don't know. They just magically appear.
Yeah.
I don't know where they come from. They usher me in, they put me in position, they slap this thing on my back, and next thing I know, I see on TV that I've got a gaping hole in my back with blood everywhere.
So you mean you didn't volunteer to have random spinal surgery just for the show?
I thought about it, but then I decided against it.
That's a whole new level of method acting there.
Commitment to your craft.
Whole new level.
Well,
But I do love that that's why the show can bring hope, but it's also a realistic show, because they
Yep.
do have things that happen that are not happy endings.
Yep.
But then they also provide hope
Yes.
because that's realistic, and they have people on staff who are advising in that capacity to make sure that it's as real as possible, but still focusing on what needs to be focused on.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And aren't you I'm so proud of the actors that have to learn the use of the surgical tools
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and what exactly to do in those scenes. I
Yeah.
mean, that impresses me so much. But
It is very
Sunshine
good job.
is on point. She is right there helping them out. And it's painstaking, because not only are you dealing with, it's not like film. In film, you have, if you're lucky, and if you're in that kind of a production, you have days, weeks, or even months to prepare for a role
Yeah, it's true.
in many different ways: losing weight, gaining weight, growing hair, shaving hair off, whatever. You have time to prepare. With TV, it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time with TV, you step on set, you wait to be called, you stand in a circle with your iPhone or your Android phone, and you rehearse the lines with the other actors 2, maybe 3 times.
Oh,
I'm a script person. I have to have paper in my hand. And Matt is like that too. Matt prefers to have paper in his hand, but everybody else is very techie. I call it techie.
yep.
And you rehearse it 2 or 3 times. You are ushered away. Your stand-ins come in and stand in your positions, and they set the cameras and the mics and everything and the lights and blah, blah, blah. And then half an hour, 45 minutes later, you come back in, you rehearse it 1 or 2 more times, and then they start to shoot. So that's it. That's all the preparation you get with the other actors.
Wow.
So these actors on The Resident and other medical shows that actually do surgery, along with warming up their lines, the more you say the lines, the more they warm up. I'm just taken aback by them. I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
It looks very difficult. I mean, I
Mhm.
know I wouldn't be able to do it.
No,
I have a
without a
lot of
panic
respect
attack.
for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to hear all of the behind the scenes aspects of it. Because when you sit down and you watch a show and, you know, it looks so effortless, but there's so much that goes behind making that. And there's just, you know, it's takes a village and it takes an army, and it's wonderful to be able to hear that and to see that, to acknowledge and appreciate all the aspects that go behind just one episode, much less a fantastic successful series. So it's definitely definitely appreciated to hear that.
Yes, that means we are hitting our goal. It's supposed to look effortless, and it's really what's behind, you know, 60 seconds actually.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, because there's so many minutes in an episode. What are there, 48 minutes in an episode, because the rest of the time is taken up with commercials and whatnot. But at every minute, there's so much behind it.
Yeah.
There were probably, I would estimate, about 125 people, including the actors, but with crew, just at the park scene.
Oh, wow.
125 to 150 people, because there were all the extras. They were doing their business in the background around us, all the crew people. And there was no video village, meaning there was no encampment where the producers and the writers sat and watched us. Because of COVID, Video Village wasn't allowed this year, at least on the shoots that I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah, so excluding the producers and writers that usually inhabit space behind the camera, there was still 125, maybe 150 people involved in just the park scene.
Yeah.
Oh, there were policemen. There were policemen and other people doing things. They were all involved in that scene, that short little scene.
I suppose you couldn't like rent out the park and say no one's allowed to go in here on set, or is that exactly what you ended up doing?
There were policemen at the gate. This park has a gate, an iron gate, and people are allowed in and out. And I guess they close it at 10 o'clock at night. But there were policemen at the gate that vetted everyone that wanted to come in.
Okay.
Now there were people who looked like background actors that were way off in the distance, that were not background actors.
Ooh.
But yeah, the policemen vetted everyone that came in.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. So,
And we only occupied the park maybe 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
That was a quick.
So that's
Yeah,
moving
it was quick.
125 people out there for like 3 hours worth of work.
There were tons of people there, tons.
it just goes to show all of the effort and care that's put into making every scene, and everybody coming together. And it was a wonderful scene, so it really paid off.
It was a nice scene, wasn't it?
It was.
It was. And the way the lighting hit your face was perfect.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And have you seen the trailer that sort of summarizes the finale?
No, I didn't know that was a thing.
I think I did.
Yeah, there's a trailer that was published after the finale that sort of summarized the finale. And in it, the music department matched the music to certain aspects in that trailer perfectly. When my legs give out, when Carol's legs give out, and AJ catches me and I fall, listen to the crescendo in the music. It's perfectly matched. It's so well matched. I had to call up my musically inclined friends and have them listen to it and watch it, because the music department does an excellent job.
Yeah.
I'm
It really
definitely
Check it
gonna have to go
out.
back and
You see what I'm
rewatch.
talking about.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have to see that.
I'm glad I brought my pen and paper down here, because I have a lot of notes of things I need to look up on this interview.
And it's funny too, because I don't think of The Resident as a very musically driven kind of show. But now that I think about it, it's true. It's there. You know what I mean? It helps. I think with every show, obviously, it helps drive it along. You know, there's shows like This Is Us, which is another show we talk about, that it's just like that music is what really just brings you into that mood of that emotion that you're trying to bring about. But it's funny, I don't always think of The Resident as a very musically driven show. I feel it more feel more organic, but now that I think about it, it's there, and it really does make a difference. It's funny.
Yeah, I don't pay as much attention to the music in the show. The music in the show is not distracting for me, but it's the trailer.
Yeah.
That trailer that I'm referring to, if I'm not mistaken, is at the top of my actor page on Facebook, Summer Selby /actress. If you go there, the trailer I'm referring to is at the very top, where I fall in the park and the music is matched up so perfectly. Check it out.
We'll link that in the podcast description too.
Sounds
Absolutely.
good.
Something wonderful to watch. Well, I do want to say, I know a minute ago we were talking about our dad and the journey that he's going through and how the story really resonated with our family. He did want me to pass on his greetings to you. He wanted to say that he really enjoys watching you and the show, and that he and my mom both really enjoy the series. So he wanted me to go ahead and let you know.
Thank you.
Just hello.
Send him a hug.
I
From
will.
me.
Virtual
I
hug.
absolutely will.
Hug him for me.
I will. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. He's really going to appreciate that. I will definitely pass on that hug.
That's really cool. What state is he in?
He's here in Texas with us.
Yeah,
here in Texas. So,
Do you know where DeSoto is? DeSoto is a southern suburb of Dallas.
okay, yeah. There's a lot of suburbs around Dallas, but my uncle used to live there. I'm sure he's very familiar with it.
Yeah, it's right down 35, right
Okay.
south of Dallas. That's where we lived before we moved here.
Wow.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, wonderful. So, fellow Texan.
I was in Texas for 35 years.
I am
Oh,
really
very
the odd man out. You guys are like south, and I'm so far up north.
Oh.
Well, if you know
Join us.
if you know where San Antonio is, we're dead west of that, along the U.S.-Mexico border. So
I have a cousin that lives in Universal City.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where
He
my
works for the water department
really
Oh, very cool.
and
that's cool.
has worked there for decades.
That's awesome. What's his name?
Bobby Uzel.
I have to ask.
His name is Robert Uzel. You know, I just remembered you asked me about my affinity to things French, and I mentioned being born in a city called Terre Haute, and I said that my maiden name was Uzel. There are Uzels in in Terre Haute still. They're my family. They pronounce it Uzel.
Oh.
And then there are Uzels on the East Coast that pronounce it Azel,
Okay.
which is closer to Oiseau in a way.
Yeah.
a little bit.
But yeah, the name is pronounced 3 different ways. And my cousin Bobby in San Antonio, Universal City, pronounces it Uzzle.
Uzzle.
Bobby
Wow.
Uzzle.
Bobby Uzzle. That's a small world that you have family in Universal City. My mom's uncle actually lives there as well. And well, that's her hometown is San Antonio. And we grew up here in Del Rio, as Josh was saying. It's you can draw a line directly west of San Antonio. As soon as you hit the border, that's where Del Rio is. So.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard of that town.
Really? Yeah, it's not. It's kind of a smaller town. Not a lot of people have heard of it.
Is it near McAllen?
Nope.
No, actually, McAllen is further south, maybe about 5-6 hours south of us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only know McAllen because my youngest son moved there years and years ago and just
Wow.
loves it. Now he lives in a northern suburb of Dallas, but he always wanted to move back to McAllen.
Back to the valley. Oh, awesome.
The valley. He called it the valley.
Yes, ma'am.
And he would go across the border and play basketball in Mexico.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
It was like 15 minutes away.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it's like living on the border. It's a lot of times, hey, let's go have dinner on this side and, go grocery shopping on the other side.
I had that too, but with
Wow.
Canada.
Oh, there you go. So she gets
There
it.
you go.
She gets it.
Oh, my husband's from Canada.
Oh, really? I
Oh,
used to
there you
live in
go.
the UP, right on the border of Canada and the Upper Peninsula.
My sister-in-law lives in the UP.
Really?
What's the
Where-
name of that town? Perry?
We
Not-
really all are
not
family
Perry.
here.
Hey, Rand.
It is such a
Oh,
small
he's not
world.
here. I-
It's a very small.
I think
world
she
from there.
lives in, no, somebody lives, what, some of his people live in Perry. And
Okay.
then Leslie Mierendorf lives in the UP. She has bears outside of her house.
That's pretty
That's all I
common.
can tell you.
That's fairly common.
We have bears in Texas too, but they
Not
come
as
through-
many as the UP.
No, yeah, that's true. But yeah, they come
I
through
was-
the hills in Mexico, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's true.
Here
They
he
come
comes.
for
Hey,
the
What
Mexican
what
mountains.
town does
Detective.
Leslie live in? Yeah, in the UP? Is she still in the UP? She's just north of Midland.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar with Midland. Yeah.
She used to
Cover
be
Midland.
in the UP, right? Yeah, she used to live in the UP. She moved.
UP is my alma mater. I went to Northern Michigan University up in Marquette.
Ah,
Yeah. Our claim to
Randy
fame is
came-
that's the head of the Starbucks. The guy who created Starbucks went to Northern Michigan.
Oh,
Randy grew up in Farmington.
Oh, yep. Familiar with that too. That's Lower
But he
Peninsula,
was-
but I'm familiar with that.
But he was born in Windsor, Canada.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Never amazed me
awesome.
how small of a world this
It
really
is.
is, right? Well, you've got
Except
some
me.
Texas fans, so that's good.
Amanda's only ever been in Texas. You're in Dallas, though, aren't you, Amanda?
A little bit north.
A little bit north,
north
Dallas.
of Dallas. Oh, so you're closer to where she's referring to then.
Yeah.
We're about
You
near
made a
Dallas.
face and you were talking about the suburb of Dallas. So that I
Yeah.
was wondering.
Yeah, my son lives, he just bought a house in Princeton.
Hey,
Texas.
my brother lives there. I actually grew up about 10 minutes away from there. We played football together or against each
Aha.
other.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go.
This is getting smaller and smaller.
This world
It's too
is getting
small.
smaller.
Too small.
Well, you are officially a part of our family
There
now.
you go.
There you go.
Thank you.
I love that. actually. That's
Fandom
awesome.
family.
Yes.
Now,
Yay.
I do want to ask a couple more questions before we have to jump off here. But one thing that we always ask our guests this: do you have a favorite memory with a cast member on set, or is it the Theo moment?
It's the Theo
Is
moment.
it?
There you go.
That's definitely my other favorite moment is with Michael Paul Chan. We were waiting to go on set in this beautiful building in Atlanta in the Arts District. I think it was an art museum. It was some sort of museum,
Okay.
but we were pretending that it's the foyer of the hospital.
Yep.
And there's some artwork on the wall. And I don't know how appropriate this is, but it was fun. It was funny as hell. There were several shots of opera singers standing on stage with an orchestra behind them. And there was one picture that he pointed to and he says, "Well, I guess it's all over." The picture, the opera singer was probably this big. Do you get it?
Oh yeah,
We got it.
Okay.
it ain't over.
I love it.
That's
So
amazing.
the fat lady sings, right?
That's great.
Oh, that's
Right. And
fun.
that's the kind of humor Michael has. Oh, I wish he would get his own comedy show.
Oh,
He
watch
is
that.
really very
would be
funny.
I loved him
awesome.
on Arrested Development. I thought he was hilarious. I would absolutely watch his show.
Yeah. Yeah. The way he delivers the lines, he has a lot of one-liners,
Hmm.
like spelunking is Carol's idea of, yeah. He needs to, I don't know, he's getting mellow in he's a couple of years younger than I am, but he needs his own show, a comedy.
Hmm. We could
I'd
advocate
love
for
to
that.
watch him in that. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, that just happened with the Sanditon movement, where everyone banded together to get more seasons. We could do that for Michael Paul Chan.
Hey, all right. I love that show too.
Yeah, we'd have another podcast off of that because I have a problem. So
What's your problem?
I'm obsessed with that show.
Isn't that a great show?
Hmm. Yes, I love that show.
The one I like better than that one though is what is the name of that show? Sanditon that's the one. I remember the shot where the actors were walking along a cliff.
Yep.
From a cottage to a beach area. The shots in that show are just amazing. It makes you want to go there and hang out.
Mm-hmm. I have the podcast we do is called the Sanditon Chronicles, and I interviewed one of the directors, Ollie Blackburn, and we talked a lot about the cinematography and how well done that is.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. The other one you like more than that was that Poldark?
No. What is the name of that show? With Queen Charlotte. And
Bridgerton.
Oh
no.
Bridgerton.
Was it? Yeah. Queen
on
Charlotte?
Netflix?
Bridgerton.
Yes.
We have a group.
Because
Bridgerton as
I
well.
had read about Queen Charlotte years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I never expected anyone to write anything with her in it.
Yeah.
But there she was. And the actress that portrayed her was perfect.
Yes, I loved her.
Oh, I love her. I love the Queen.
Queen Charlotte is the bomb.
She played that part.
She did. I
So
think she
amazing.
has a spinoff show, doesn't she?
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, I read that she's getting a spinoff.
Yep.
I'm glad.
That's
she
well
deserves
deserved.
it. Yes.
Speaking of spinoffs, I would love to pitch to Fox a spinoff of AJ, Mina, and his parents. I think that'd be great. You guys would be perfect.
That would be
Make your own
wonderful.
show.
You can get that done, right,
I
Summer?
would totally watch that. I mean,
That
And
would be
that's
great.
that's doable because it's a comedy in the making because Yi has the restaurant
Mhm.
and he's so funny. And then there's the two sets of parents, the adopted parents and the biological parents.
Yep.
And there's all kinds of things that can go on because of that.
Absolutely.
And remember, he met his biological parents and his two brothers, but three
I forgot about
brothers
the
were
brothers.
mentioned.
Yeah, I forgot
Three
about
brothers
them.
were mentioned.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Where's that third brother?
There's your first season storyline right
I
there.
think
there
you
you
could
go.
be a writer on the show. Let's do
I
that.
love
You can
Seriously, I
write
would
and
watch
star.
that.
Right, and star.
I would love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be epic.
That would be so much fun.
I would
Now-
absolutely love that show. And you guys could share a set, so it's not like it's so much extra work for Fox.
That's true.
You need to pitch that, Maureen.
Now,
Fox
speaking
Disney, if you're watching, listen.
Yes.
Here.
the fans want this.
We do.
Yes.
We want this show.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of Mina, that was such a heartbreaking goodbye for the fans. I know she's also a fan favorite. I'm not sure if you can share anything on it, but what does that look like for the future? Is there a possibility of a Mina return, or was that just her time on the show is over now?
I'm only guessing, but I don't think her time on the show is over. I think it's possible that she'll come back from time to time. And if Morris Chestnut does leave, I think it's possible he'll come back from time to time. She's already booked two movies.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I mean,
one is with it's Indiana Jones with
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
what's his name? The
Harrison
star of Indiana Jones. My
Harrison
memory is
Ford.
terrible.
or Shia LaBeouf came out in the new
No,
one.
no,
Harrison
no.
Ford is Indiana Jones.
Thank you. I don't know if he's going to be in it, but she booked an Indiana Jones, and there's something else. So I would say if she has time, if she has time,
Yes.
she'll come back in from time to
we
time.
can all hope.
And her
I
mother
think
can even come back.
I think production knows that people really miss her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be great to see them come back. We definitely want to see all of them together. And I think that would just be a wonderful thing.
And her character said, "This is not over."
Several
Right.
times.
That really gave me hope, because I was really hoping that that was their way of saying, hey, she's not gone forever. She's going to come back at least at some point in time. And definitely, I'm glad that was
Yeah.
that was said in the show.
That was my
Yeah,
thought
you
too,
know-
because she kept saying, if I do it this way, then I can't come back. She kept saying that.
Right.
Yeah, there was a time when an actor was in that kind of position and they would leave a show, they would be blackballed from that
Mhm.
show.
Oh,
The times have changed.
Yeah.
And this
Right.
production company is not like that.
Hmm.
that's wonderful.
Great to hear.
That's
she's a Marvel
wonderful.
actor too, so you can't.
Yeah.
That's
is also
true. Yeah,
Disney.
she is a
Yeah,
Marvel
exactly, which is
actor,
also
which is Disney. That's true. So she's technically not
can't
even
shun that.
leaving the company. Yeah, you gotta enjoy that.
But I think the characters on the show are so well written and they're different. I don't know another show where I could pick out someone like Mina or
Right.
or like the Raptor, or they've written even
Right.
Carol and Yi. The characters are so well written that you don't really get images of them or even snapshots of them in any other show.
Yeah.
Right.
So the fans get really attached to these characters as if we know them personally and they're real people.
Yeah, Shawnette's portrayal of Mina is skillful.
Hmm.
She's very good. She's a skillful actress.
Yeah.
It's not easy to portray that kind of personality unless you have that kind of personality. And then even if you did, you probably wouldn't be aware of it, wouldn't know how to bring it to the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can see her being very strong. A very strong woman. She puts that persona just out there.
Hmm.
I mean, who doesn't love her?
Absolutely.
Definitely a great character and a great performance. So hopefully
Yes.
we'll see her again soon for sure.
We'll
Maybe
see.
Carol will be the one to bring her back, because I think
There you
Mina
go.
loves Carol too. And with all the stuff that's going on with Carol and AJ, maybe Mina is going to want to come back and be like, okay, I know my country needs me and I'll be back and forth, but Carol and AJ need me too right now.
Absolutely.
Well, I think one of the reasons she did leave in a way, and maybe it wasn't conveyed, but I feel like it always had to be in my mind, is that, she knew that AJ kind of needed to focus on Carol. So it was kind of like, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna step back,
Hmm.
And of course I know there's other things that they did it, but it just kind of worked out that way where it was just kind of like it conveyed that, it's okay,
Hmm.
I'm gonna step back and let him focus on.
Now,
Another-
didn't Mina mention that she brought her mother over to help with a surgery? Did we actually see her mother in an episode?
Yeah,
In a
couple of them, I
previous
think.
season.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
have.
We
She,
did
yeah,
see
she
her for a
came
couple
to perform. I
episodes.
don't remember what surgery she performed, but she came specifically to perform a surgery on someone because they didn't have anyone capable of doing it.
Ah, there's a lot of possibilities with this show. It
Right?
can go in any direction.
So we're gonna email you after this, and you and us are gonna get together a spec script, and we're gonna pitch something to Fox, and we're gonna
We're
get this
gonna do
done.
this.
When next time you're on set, you can just drop it in front
Yes.
There you
Just
go.
casually
of the
slip it under an
writers.
exec's door.
Exactly.
We can do this. We got this.
Got it. We figured it out.
Those are great ideas.
Hmm.
That would be wonderful.
I'm
I
enjoying-
hope somebody from the writing team watches this episode and
I
listens.
hope so.
You should tell them about our podcast.
Yes.
There you go. Just share it to everybody. Just send them the link and let them know, hey, tune into this.
You got it. You got it.
Oh,
We're really looking
Because I'm
forward to it.
I guess-
texting back and forth with Malcolm Jamal, and with Michael. And I can mention it to them as well.
Yes.
that would be awesome.
They probably have a lot of ideas too about
Mhm.
spinoffs.
Oh, I'm
It'd
sure.
be great to have both of y'all on at the same time one of these days. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Mom and son.
The mom and son time. Well,
Yeah.
whole family. Bring
Even,
Michael on too.
yeah, even Carol and Yi, that would be a fun dynamic
That would be
too.
a
I mean,
fun-
we'd like to
yeah,
hear
that would
from
be
Awesome.
Malcolm
fun.
too, but Carol and Yi, I think that would be fun to dissect that relationship.
Yeah.
Because
That would be fun.
those are
That'd
real
be a lot
people
of
to
fun.
us.
Yes.
That is
They
true.
are.
It'd be great if you can come on in character and never break that character.
Yeah, you can
Just
do that, right?
talk the
I
whole
didn't say
time.
that, but
It's just like, wait a minute. Hold on.
We're not weird. This is a normal thing.
Oh,
That would be interesting.
that would be
That would be a fun cover.
It would be a pilot episode for the spin-off series.
Ooh,
There you go. There you go.
We already got it ready for you.
man,
Here
we
you
have
go.
such good ideas.
You guys are brimming with ideas.
Yeah.
This is a brainstorming session now.
Mhm.
Oh, well, please definitely give our regards to the rest of the cast and the crew. Let them know how much we do appreciate them putting on such a wonderful show. We definitely enjoy watching it, and we're definitely looking forward to next season.
Mhm.
I will if I see them. I
Oh,
have not been asked back yet. All we know is that there's a 5th season and there will be 23 episodes instead of 14.
Oh yes.
That's all we know.
Oh, thank goodness.
Wow, that's all you know. Wow.
And
So
I know that with COVID, it had to be shortened. And I think because of COVID, we lost so much of the development of these relationships. So I'm really excited that we get a full real season where we can watch the development of characters a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if my agent knew anything more than that, he'd tell me.
Yes.
well, we'll make sure that you get asked back. We'll start that campaign online and waiting for you to get back.
The hashtag's ready.
We are going to get those hashtags ready. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it would be hopefully post-COVID so I can get out and see more
Yes.
of Atlanta. I was pretty much quarantined in the hotel for 3 months
Mm,
because I didn't want to test positive,
right.
When do you start?
course,
Like
yeah.
typically, when do you start filming? Like for a new season, would you start in the summer or would you start? Oh, okay.
They're going to have to start in the summer because they've already published an article saying that they'll start back in September. So that
Oh.
means
Wow.
shooting should start pretty soon.
Oh,
So in a TV
wow.
show, is filming actually happening still while new episodes are airing?
I was in Atlanta shooting 413 and 414, and they were airing, I think it was 49 and 410.
Oh, okay.
That's how close we were.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
a
and
big
it's
job.
Just a few episodes.
As
off.
I mentioned, we were all tested 3 times a week.
Mhm.
So if somebody had tested positive, that would have just exploded.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's
I'm
a very tight
nerve-wracking.
schedule.
So I know if somebody brought me room service in the hotel, they had to have a mask on.
Oh,
Oh
that
yeah.
makes sense.
When I
I would-
entered the
I couldn't
door, I
imagine.
had my mask on.
I'd be so paranoid.
I was paranoid.
Because
Oh,
you don't want to
man.
be the one who brings down
Right.
an entire TV show.
They're
Wow.
like, no.
It's
No,
double
because
pressure.
if somebody tests positive, they have to shut down for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Oh, that just messes everything up.
So you can't let that happen.
We can blame Barrett Kane on that, can't we?
That's true.
There you go. I'm all for that. That
I
sounds
agree.
Great.
That would be great.
Yeah, I still
Blame
tell you,
him.
I'm still like in shock the moment he walked in when Carol was on that
Mm-hmm.
on the gurney. I'm like,
Oh, he was like the Lone Ranger. You knew he was.
Yep.
I could hear the trumpets.
Exactly. I was like, this shit.
He was coming to save the day. I heard that when I was reading the script when I first got it to prepare for the audition. I knew he was going to save the day.
Oh my goodness.
And you know that they have to come out like this when they're in surgery, but just to see him come out like this is like, I am here. They had to have their hands up. It was just like, oh
It's
man.
like,
I've arrived.
You knew it was coming, but when you
Love it.
saw it, it was still so delicious.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think there's even potential for Carol to, because I think there's a running theme of how the women soften the men a bit and how the women kind of build up the men in this show.
You mentioned
so-
that before, yeah.
I think that Carol can even be the one, because Carol has a way with people. And I think that her coming out of because is she in a coma or is she just coming out of anesthesia? I don't remember.
Anesthesia, as
Anesthesia.
far as I know.
So when he comes back in to check on her, I think there's a real potential for Carol
love
to
that
reach through to
idea.
Kane in a way that nobody else really can.
I think that
Yeah,
would be
because he
wonderful
leaves the room
storyline.
saying he hasn't made a decision on whether or not he's going to go to Johns Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, or not. Yeah,
So it's
Carol's listening.
so it's on you to make sure that he stays.
She'll put her 2 cents in.
love it.
I guess we can just move on to our last question for you, and that is our last question for everybody. Do you have any upcoming projects you'd like to share with us, or are you taking some time right now?
The next thing that's coming out is July 9th.
Oh,
Do you remember a TV show called Leverage,
yes.
Mhm.
starring Gina Bellman and, oh, why is his name escape me? I could look it up, but I'm sure you guys can look it up faster than I can. They've rebooted it, and we shot, I think 12 episodes, 13 episodes.
Oh,
I'm in episode number 3. Remember, it's a team of people that have nefarious backgrounds
mhm.
that take on the little people and solve problems for everyday citizens.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, this version is called Leverage Redemption,
Mm.
Okay.
and it follows the same sort of storyline. And I'm in the 3rd episode, and they're going to release all 13 episodes on July 9th
I love it when they do that.
on
Oh, cool. definitely watch that.
on IMDb TV,
Oh,
which is free TV.
Awesome.
I didn't know
That's
that.
with
I have that.
Timothy Hutton, right?
Timothy Hutton. Yep.
Timothy Hutton.
Timothy Hutton. Yeah, bless his heart. He was replaced by Noah Wiley.
Oh,
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
seen him in a long time.
I haven't.
Wow.
I like
And I
Yeah.
think Noah is directing some of the episodes, not the one I was in, but some of the other episodes. You can also catch me on Amazon Prime in 000, which is a wonderful crime story, 8 episodes following a shipment of cocaine from Mexico to Italy. And I
Oh.
play one of the star's therapists. What else is on? Streaming, Did I Kill My Mother is streaming. I play the nosy neighbor. There's another streaming service that has a 3-part series called Soul City. And the first part is called Grace. I appear in that. There's a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
So you really do like to
Go
work.
my IMDb page and look up
Yep.
Summer Selby, y'all.
There you go.
And bring my score down.
No, it'll go up.
Mhm.
Well, the lower it is, the better it is.
Better.
Oh, it's like golf. I don't understand golf.
I don't know either.
On IMDb, it's called a star meter or something like that.
Okay. Well, I have to say,
Okay.
Summer, you are an absolute delight to talk to, and this was so fun talking with you. I like laughing a lot in an interview, and I feel like we did that quite a bit.
Oh, likewise,
Absolutely.
likewise. This was a lot of fun. I was a little scared.
Aw.
I was at breakfast with some people I volunteer with, and I said, I have my first podcast this afternoon. And I listened to their podcast yesterday, and these people, woo, they are tough. They know everything about this show.
We don't mess
And
around.
all I know are my little scenes, and sometimes in my scenes, I don't even know what's going on when they're operating on me,
Mhm.
because I'm concerned with the pain I'm in.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well,
Well,
this
you have been such a joy. We
Mhm.
so appreciate you joining us. It's just been such a
My
wonderful
pleasure.
conversation.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
I just
Absolutely.
want to say thank you for coming on with us. We really, really
Thank
enjoyed
you
this.
for inviting me, Amanda.
Of course. I am so happy to do this with you.
I have to
to
say,
get-
we have a podcast chat group on Facebook, and she was like, "Guys, I got Summer Selby. Guess I'm so excited." So it was a big deal in our chat
It
group that we
was.
got Summer
It was.
Selby
It
to
was
say
a
yes.
very big deal.
A very big deal.
I'm telling you, we love your character.
I'm one of
There's
those
some
actors that have
fans out
been
here.
around for a long time. I think this is my 35th year. I
Wow.
never went to LA, never went to New York. I started out doing commercials and training films and sales training films, voiceovers on the radio, stage work, then moved into TV and film. I'm one of those people that you see and you think, I've seen her somewhere before, but I can't remember where. The biggest thing that I did was an educational video that was sold into many, many, many school districts in this country, except here in the Southeast. It
Oh.
was about Harriet Tubman, and I played Harriet Tubman. It was that company's top seller. And they
Oh,
still sell that video. It was done way back in 1992.
Oh,
We were
wow.
nominated for an Emmy.
wow.
The series is called In Search of the Heroes. They did a video about Mark Twain and Frank, Harriet Tubman, and several other heroes from our history. So I have, I guess, one of those faces. I get people that look at me and say, I know you from somewhere a lot, but people don't know my name.
Oh, well, they'll know it now.
Yes, I guess.
Oh.
Gosh, all the streaming services you put your podcast on, I was really impressed.
Oh, thank you.
That's all Marine's hard work.
It is, yes, definitely.
It's fun for me.
Oh, labor of love.
Well, again, Summer, thank you so much. And if we can, we are probably going to try to find a way to have you back on here because it's just
My
fun.
pleasure.
And I
Just
think that they're going to
let me
continue
know.
your storyline. So
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
we'll get on
Your
that spec
mouth to
script.
God's ears.
Yes. Yes.
And
On that-
Joshua, you keep reiterating the man's point of view for me.
Thank you.
Yes. He is the one single man in our 9 team of podcasters.
It's all good. We've become a family now, so
Wow.
it's
The
We
only
forget
guy.
that there's a
So
guy
good.
sometimes. So
Wow.
awkward
Yeah.
conversations occasionally happen in the chat, but it's okay.
Nah, it's a great thing. I'm
I think-
enjoying it. and-
You want to meet my husband?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, he's suddenly shy. He said no.
Aw.
So never mind.
You know what? My dad is actually here. Do you want to meet him?
Yeah,
Oh,
Can you
cool.
give me just a quick second?
sure.
Thanks.
So Josh is a radio station manager, and Bethany, she is, what does she do in radio, Josh?
She's actually our morning show host, so yeah, she
Okay.
does some production as well too. So yeah, we're a
What
small
radio
little,
station, Josh?
It's a small radio station here in Del Rio. It's well, actually, I say we're small, but we're part of a bigger network. It's called Inspiricom, and it's contemporary Christian music. It's not like gospel, but it's not like Christian rock. It's like just average kind of music, but it's a very community driven radio station. So it's nice. I like it.
Ah,
It's she's been on air longer than probably since like 2011. Then I took over as manager in 2015. So it's been great. It's been good. So she's actually in the main studio, and then I'm in the production studio. So it works out.
okay.
Can you tell that they've got their radio voices?
No,
that.
I
They were just
didn't.
in the other
She's
room.
the pro. She's the pro. I'm the fill-in. So
No, I didn't. It didn't feel that
He's
way.
got to duck down a little bit, Bethany.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my dad right here. If you want to duck down, you can see yourself on camera.
Oop, there you go.
Oh, you want to have a seat?
I can't see him. All I see is Josh and Maureen. Wait.
Oh.
Change the camera.
Are you on an iPad or are you on a laptop?
iPad.
Swipe to the
Dad. who's
right. I think.
about- So put the headphones on.
It's not
There you
doing
go.
anything.
You might have to say anything. You might have to say something.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, that's fine. I can see you. So just wanted to say hello.
There you
Good to
are.
meet you. Enjoy watching the shows. Enjoy seeing Theo now that he's grown up.
I know. Isn't it marvelous?
Yes, it is.
He's all buff and hairy and
I think
and
we
what-
all got a little bit of beard after this year or so.
you look. My husband always wears a hat like what you have on now.
Oh, yeah,
He probably has on one here in the house.
that's great. Yeah, I've been wearing hats for the longest time, so.
What
except
does the
when I'm in
logo
class-
say at the top? What does
Yeah.
it say?
Is it messed up?
Oh, no, she wants to know what the logo.
Oh, on that, I think that hat is probably. I think that's Alabama Sweet Tea.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
yeah, Alabama
okay.
Sweet Tea Company. Yeah, I got that from. We know the owners of them. They're where is it? I think in Montgomery. I think they're out of. So
In Montgomery. Okay.
Yeah, the lead singer of one of the groups that we know. So he's the one that runs it. So,
Ah,
mhm.
well, it was nice to meet you.
Same here. I had, was looking forward to it, saying hi. My wife says hello also, so
Tell her I said
Yeah.
hi.
she said, say hi, honey. He was in the background.
So
and we're-
sweet.
So excuse my beard.
We like
Beards are
beards.
great.
I know. We'll keep up the good work and we'll be looking forward to seeing more seasons.
Me too.
Hey. Okay, I'll turn it back to them. Okay.
Okay.
God bless
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Same
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just ran to get him and he's like, what? I just kind of thrusted him in here. I'm sorry about
That's fine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying hi to him. I know it really means a lot to him.
That was neat. And your mom too. She was back over
Yes,
somewhere
yeah,
waving at me.
yeah, she was waving. She says hi. She's still right here in the studio with us. So they were in the lobby here at the radio station that Josh manages. And so I just kind of, so she just walked in the studio right now. So she says hello as well. So thank you. We appreciate that.
A radio family.
Yes, absolutely. A radio family. It's so cool how God kind of worked that out. So definitely has been something in our blood our whole lives. So we're glad we're able to live it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. When we were kids, we used to pretend to have radio shows and announce songs and stuff. So it works out.
Just
Perfect.
like me when I was a kid and I pretended I was somebody else. I didn't know it was called acting, but I pretended to be. Wait till I post this picture. You'll see. You'll understand.
I can't
I'll put
wait.
it on my
I can't wait.
Be great.
actress page on Facebook.
That's awesome. I love that, how something that you're passionate about as a child and you're able to live it out as your career as an adult. That's fantastic. I love that.
I'm blessed.
God works those things out. Definitely.
I'm blessed. I've only had 2 careers, financial services and this.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's
You do great at this.
Thank
You do.
you.
Everyone, thank you to Summer Selby from, again, she's from The Resident. She plays Carol among so many other things. And we're going to put a link to her IMDb page so you can check out everything that she's done and all the things that she's going to continue doing. And I have so many notes of things that I have to look up and things I have to watch now. So I need to go get busy. So thank you again.
Yeah, check out In Search of the Heroes. It's done by Grace Products. I think I mentioned that company to Amanda. They do
Yes.
Christian films in Richardson, Texas.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's where I live.
Oh, and Richard's
Again, a small world.
a very small world. And radio. So there you go.
All right.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's something
Very
else. It's
small
awesome.
world.
Really is.
All right. So we've got to hop off, but thank you again. And we will be looking forward to talking to you real soon. I'm determined.
Okay. All right.
Bye, Summer.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.